Merry meet everyone. Welcome back to Midnight Fantasy Creations. Today we are doing the review of that gnome I stuck outside to see if the sealer actually makes it 100% waterproof. But first, I want to thank all my subscribers. My goal is to reach 500 subscribers, and I'm not halfway there yet, but you know what? I'm getting there, and I thank you guys so much. Please keep commenting, sharing, and liking the videos. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, especially if you like, or I should say, enjoy watching my content. I do all sorts of crafts. I don't cater to just one. We are a fantasy-based company, so I do tend to cater to that. So dragons, gnomes, fairies, unicorns, that kind of stuff. I will occasionally go off a little bit. Well, not really. Cats are kind of a witchy thing, which is a fantasy thing in some cases, especially if you were talking about Harry Potter. So I do sell Harry Potter stuff on my website. I am currently, I think the only thing I have left now are the ornaments, but I will be stocking up as soon as I have the funds to do that, because I sold out of the rest of the stuff. If you want to see some of that, if you're into that kind of stuff, check out my online store, as well as you can check out my Etsy for any of the handmade stuff that not all of it, but most of it, of the handmade stuff that I have on my Etsy shop, you will see me make on this channel, or for the most part. But back to the the gnome we stuck outside. So the first week I put him out there, he did start to crack at the feet. Of course, I wasn't too happy about that, but I left him out there for another 2 weeks, and I don't think it snowed during those 3 weeks that he was out there. And I do say 3 for a reason, but I'm not sure if it froze at night, because we did have a couple of cold nights. So after a week or 2 weeks, half of him crumbled away. I don't know how well you can see this, but he has cracked absolutely everywhere. There isn't a single spot, and this is the reason why I brought him in after 3 weeks, and I'm happy we did, because we had some snowstorms. I mentioned in the last video, the day I posted that video, there was literally a blizzard going on. So he was in the house before any of the actual snowstorms that we had here in New England. And I'm kind of happy I did, because I'm pretty sure he would have been nothing but pieces, and I wouldn't have been able to pick him up. Like, I'm surprised I can pick him up now, because he's almost completely cracked into pieces. Like, it's not all the way through, but look how deep those cracks go. I'm surprised his hat hasn't fallen off. I'm not going to chance it. So I do want to try doing this again with a smaller piece, so I'm not wasting it. But I want to skip all the way up to the UV resin. I don't think the other varnishes or acrylic sealers are going to do any better than the urethane sealer, because that actually, I'm pretty sure, was advertised to be like outdoors on rocks and whatnot. The rocks probably would have been fine, because rocks weren't meant to crack. But this stuff it cannot get wet. If it gets wet, it will absorb the water. The more water absorbs, the more it's going to start to break down. It may not completely dissolve right away, and eventually it will wear down to nothing. So I do want to prevent that. I would love to have these little gnomes sit outside, in your little gardens. If not, for now, sealing them and leaving them in your house, in your indoor gardens, is totally fine. They get a little wet, totally fine. Like, after the first, rainstorm, I checked in on him and he looked great. Like, no cracks. He didn't feel wet. He was fine. And then I stuck him in a potted plant. I didn't want him to be out in the open, but I didn't want him to be out in the open. So sitting outside in wet, in marshy or largely humid areas, not a good idea. So I want to try this again with a small little flower. I am going to be making these into magnets. I have some with rhinestones on them. I think they'd be really cute. I do still want to UV them anyways, just to give them a nice coating, to kind of get them a little sturdier. But these have little tiny rhinestones in them to add a little, cute little bling. And then I'm going to have magnets on the back. And I will be giving these away to repeat customers as a free little thank you for being a repeat customer. I am not going to do it at the moment for first-time buyers. So those of you who've already bought from me, if you buy again, you'll be getting a free gift. Something small Nothing too fancy, just a little homemade free gift. Once I have enough supply stocked up with the free little gifts, I will start doing them for first-time buyers as well. But at the moment, I don't have the time with my full-time job. I usually try not to have too much left over. Give me a second. I do want to set up my UV lamp so we can cure this. No, so this one already has a little bit of UV resin on the large flower, but I do want to put it on the rest of this, and you do not want to coat this with the rhinestone in it because the rhinestone will lose its facets. Also, you do want to make sure you're not blocking the hole that's going in. So if you do it with a rhinestone or something like that, you do want to be careful of how much resin you put in here. And you can even probably put the rhinestone in like before you cure it. Just, coat it and then put the rhinestone on top and then cure it so it stays in place. I don't know how well. It should stay in there fairly well. You may want to turn it on its back. But right now we're going to coat the top. We're going to stick this under the UV light and we're going to cure it. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the bottom. And of course, this is going to be a nice short video. I'm going to do this fast forward so you're not hearing me ramble and watching me do this entirely. So I'm going to do top, bottom, cure them, and then that'll be it for this video. For now, I can't, unless I think of something else in the meantime. And of course, I have my little finger protectant on because I'm not playing a lot with this. So I'm not too worried about covering my whole hand. I don't have allergic reaction to this, so I don't get super sensitive. I do know some people who are allergic to it will find their hands will swell. They'll get a rash. Their skin will turn red. It is painful. And then when it heals, as the skin is healing, it'll be cracked and it's just painful all over. So please be advised, if you are allergic to this, wear gloves. If you find wearing gloves is not enough, double glove, or I think you can buy specially made gloves that are a little thicker for this kind of stuff. So just keep that in mind. And of course, you do want to make sure you coat absolutely everything. Make sure there is nothing uncoated because the second that water penetrates through this, it is going to destroy your project. So this is something you definitely want to take your time on and make sure every inch has been sealed. Now, if you missed a spot, you can go over it. No biggie. Just be careful not to leave huge globs because you're gonna see them, and just kind of smooth out as best you can. This will only cure under the light, and this is why I say UV would be a little bit better for this kind of stuff, because the fact that you can slap it on, stick it under a light, and be done with it. Whereas the epoxy resins, even the 4-hour fast cure, if you were to stick it in a curing machine, would still take a while. And in that while for curing, it is going to drip or run off of your project because nothing is holding it. And gravity, let me tell you, gravity doesn't care. It is just going to pull everything down. So this is going to be the best option for this kind of project. Now what I'm just doing is making sure everything has been coated. And it looks like just one spot along the sides needs to get another coat, and maybe just underneath the flowers where the two of them connect. And the rest of this, maybe right here too. Some tiny spots. So like I said, you definitely want to make sure everything is coated. And I am just going to go over those spots. I do apologize about the bright light. I'm trying to see where it's extra shiny, because if it's extra shiny, I know it's got resin on it. And if it's not extra shiny, which sometimes is hard to tell with when you put a metallic or a iridescent or something that already has a shine to it, it is a lot harder to see the resin on the item you are trying to coat. So I definitely want to make sure it is all cured, and I am going to do this in steps. So I will be holding this. So that's looking fairly saturated. I am going to wind up finding out, because I highly doubt water is going to penetrate through the UV resin. I don't care how pretty this one looks, because apparently I did leak a little bit. Well, that's not going to come off. So my magnets are going to look a lot prettier than this, because I will take my time to make sure they're not as goopy. So we are going to test this out. And I'm going to do another video like this in a month to see how this little flower is doing. Like I said, I have high hopes with this. So if this doesn't work, it's either because A, I missed a spot, or B, I don't know, something else happened. And then I am going to leave it outside all year because UV resin will still yellow over time, depending on the brand and the quality, the better quality. And I don't remember if Go Resin actually advertises anti-yellowing. I think it does, but I'm not positive. But we're going to find out. And then I know someone did mention in a comment in one of my other videos, they would love to see me do a comparison. I have to figure out which comparison they're talking about because I have no problem doing comparisons. It's just not going to be one right after the other because I do need to make sure I have the money to buy all the materials. I'm not going to be able to do that all at once. So I do want to do a nice comparison to the top coats to see which one is going to be better. And I do have the top coats for these. So I might do a video on something small like this. I'm not sure if I want to see how well they're going to hold up in the rain, but you guys can comment below if you want to see that. I do want to do a comparison between the quality of the top coats or sealers. So there's only one sealer I don't have that I do want to get because it's very intriguing. It's a little more expensive than the other ones that I've got already. So I do want to get that. But for now, we are going to see how this holds up. I also want to do, because I know people in other videos have mentioned they don't like the music playing. I've even had one person privately ask me on Facebook Messenger, why the music? Usually they say they have to mute it because they don't like the type of music that's being played. And I totally get that. Everyone has their own taste. So as soon as I figure out how to work the survey, because I'm pretty sure there is a survey that you can post on YouTube, I'm going to do a survey of with music and without music. I might even do this video without music just to see if you guys like it. That way you'll actually have a taste, because a lot of times it'll be like, oh yeah, I'll probably watching it without the music, and then you actually listen to it and it's like, oh my god, I had to put music on because I was falling asleep. Not because the content was bad, it's just the music sometimes just helps. And some people are opposite. It's like, I fall asleep because of the music and I have to mute it. So I want to do a survey to see the majority of people who like what. And whichever one wins or does the majority of the votes that and I shouldn't say win, it's not a contest. So whoever the majority of people who like say with music or without music, that's pretty much what I'm going to stick to. And then I may revisit that survey in a year to see if those numbers have changed. So keep an eye out for the survey on whether or not I will be playing music. And then in a month or so, I am going to revisit this little flower and see how it is holding up in the UV resin. And if it yells right away, we'll find out too. But that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, hit the thumbs up. Of course, comment, subscribe, share the videos with people you know who enjoy this. especially if you know there's people who are struggling in this craft and I happen to be doing the video and I do a good job of explaining the do's and the don'ts, or if it's something they have an issue with, share the video with them. It'll be very helpful. That way they can watch it. They can kind of digest what's going on, maybe figure out what they're doing wrong that I'm doing differently. And that goes for any YouTuber. If you find a YouTuber out there that's doing a project that either you or someone you know is struggling with, and you found a video that you came across that you know will help them, share those videos. It helps YouTubers a lot. I also am going to debate whether or not I want to do a giveaway when I hit 500 subscribers. As of today, and this is literally the day after I released last week's video, so I do try to record a week before, at least a week before, if not a few weeks before I release them. So this is right after my lovely snowstorm blizzard that I mentioned in the last video. And as of today, I hit 150 subscribers, and I thank you for all you guys. And I am gonna figure out if I can do a nice giveaway for the 500 subscribers, and then figure out how to do the winners, because I gotta make sure there's no scammers that are scamming you guys. Obviously, if I do it, everything would be free. I'm paying for the shipping, the handling, no information would be exchanged. I just gotta figure out what I want to do, and I might do a survey on what you guys would like to actually win, because like I said, I don't just do one thing. Like, I don't just do resin or resin-crete, or I do want to get into more wire wrapping. I did mention that before, and we did do a little bit, and we did do some with UV resin, but I want to get more into it. I just need to be able to spend some time kind of playing around with it. But I have done jewelry in here. If you see any jewelry on my Etsy shop and you want to know how I make it, I mean, there's a limit to how handmade it is, because I don't have the machine to make the pieces, the metal pieces themselves, but will put rhinestones in some if they're an open bezel, or I will be doing some different, more complex jewelry with open bezels and resins and adding like things on the outside as well as the inside. So I do want to get into more of that stuff. So I will see you guys in the next video. Blessed be. Bye.